Morning all, how are we doing? Anybody getting on the DAX gap fill this morning? Nice big gap. Morning Ladder, morning Analia, David. Might be a bit echoey in here today and the rest of this week. I'm getting the office refurbed, so if it's a bit echoey, apologies for that. Nothing much I can do at the moment. Sounds echoey to me. Morning Andy. Yes, got gap fill running at the moment on the DAX. Fair old decent space there this morning, so see if we can get there. Right. We'll have a quick look at the news. Morning Diamond. Nothing today. We had the cash rates this morning, which came out as expected for a change. Last two they'd increased, but got an expected this morning. Wasn't a massive impact on the Aussie. It's basically as expected, obviously, so there was no shock there. But it should strengthen the Aussie a little. We had a good run on it yesterday, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I've got in on the gap on my futures account and on my Forex funds account as well. I'm in on all of them, actually. I've got 5 shorts running on this. Morning, Minpo. No news for the rest of the day. We've got Bailey speaking at 11 o'clock, but probably not going to do a massive amount. Tomorrow is Jolts and FOMC tomorrow evening, so that's what we're waiting for tomorrow. That's the big one, FOMC. We got non-farm employment change on Thursday, which is normally on a Wednesday, but they've pushed it back to a Thursday for some reason. And then we got non-farm payroll on Friday. So NFP Friday, along with the Canadian unemployment figures. So big week for the rest of the week. We obviously had the bank holiday yesterday. Market was a little bit flat. The futures market was dead. A little bit of movement in the morning, but not a lot. And the FX side of things was we got some ADRs on the Aussies and New Zealands, but most of the other pairs were fairly sideways. But I'm going to go through all the FX pairs this morning and do a full analysis of all of them. So no more news today. Aussies, as you can see, we had a bit of movement on the Aussie, but nothing dramatic. We haven't got any ADR hits or anything on it, so those rates didn't really have any impact this morning. David, been watching a documentary on the life history of Prince Harry. Okay, each to their own. I've been watching him basically since I was born. Or since he was born, rather. Morning, Stevie. Right, so let's start with a quick overview of everything on the dashboards this morning, which will be really quick because there isn't anything. So ADRs we're flat, average weekly ranges we're flat, nothing's hit monthlies yet, so that's nice and easy, nothing to look at there. Hourlies, nothing on the hourly RSI extensions either, so there's nothing to look at there. US dollar yen is close on the hourly. But it's just started to sort of roll over this morning. So there's nothing really there at the minute. CAD yen is also very close to getting extended. I'm in a buy on that at the minute, not far away from TPing on that. But yeah, so there's nothing on there. And the 4-hour RSIs are completely flat as well. So nothing to look at there. On the dailies, we've got Aussie CAD extended at the minute. Which is just coming out of its extension on yesterday's push on the Aussie Swiss, same thing, just coming out of extension. Pound Swiss is extended on the daily, but that's been extended for sort of a week now, not going anywhere, not expecting it to go anywhere. And New Zealand dollar Swiss also extended, and again not expecting the Swissy to really go anywhere with New Zealand dollar. So Nothing to look at on the dashboards. Just a quick recap of yesterday. I banked 1.8% yesterday. Really good day yesterday. Most of that was Aussie yen. Can't remember what I banked yesterday. Where are we? That's live. So yeah, Aussie New Zealand. Banked those two Aussie New Zealands yesterday. Nice little profit. CAD yen, banked that long from Friday last week. Got out up there. Added another one on as well. We pulled back and pushed up, so I added another position onto that one. Aussie yen. Oh yeah, so that was two positions. So got out of. I did a drawdown control on this one yesterday. So I wasn't particularly worried about the Aussie yen. From a from a perspective of being wrong bias, I still think it's a long, but you can see I got one position on there and I had another position on here, so I had two positions far too close together. One was taken manually and one was taken by the EA, so I just closed that one out and got rid of it with all the profit. That was about $160 profit, and I used $60 of that just to get rid of that second position, so I wasn't overexposed on it basically. Took another long, and yeah, that one's just in profit. That was another Aussie yen I took off as well yesterday, and Aussie New Zealand. So that was the stop out. So this was the aggressive drawdown control position that I put on that I got stopped out. Look at the stop on this. If you ever wanted proof that stop hunts exist and that the market uses stops to power themselves up, basically, look at these lows here. Look at my stop loss placement. Look at where they came. Yeah, everybody's stop was in the same place, and there's nothing wrong with it. You need to have a stop if you're going to use a stop. You need to have a stop below a swing, but obviously that's what the market uses. It uses these stops to power up the market to power itself up and basically move. So obviously they just came straight down, took my stop and then ran with me. So, but I put that position back on anyway. So so that was that. And Euro odd, that was the day before. That was on Friday. So that's everything that I banked yesterday. And current exposure is mainly long Aussie, short New Zealand, short yen. So I've got CAD yen, Aussie yen, Aussie New Zealand. I've got 2 on, and a pound US dollar, which I entered yesterday. So that was the new position I entered into yesterday, the pound US dollar. So I took the reversal alert short on that. That's not gone anywhere. So reason I like the pound US dollar is I just wanted to get some exposure on the US dollar on this week, because we've got some big news on the US dollar. We've got FOMC tomorrow, and then Friday we've got non-farm payroll. So I'm hoping we're going to get some powering up of the US dollar, which is why I've chosen the pound US dollar. The pound is weak at the moment, so Euro US dollar is obviously another option you've got for a short. They're both pretty much in the same spot and in the same situation. But the reason I like the pound US dollar is that when I was looking at this yesterday, we had this support here, which we were tapping into. So I was hoping we were just going to hold it, which we have. Failing that, we've got this support resistance here, which it's likely to bounce into if it does push up. Then we've got the 24 supporting it out of this balance area. So waiting for some power, some US dollar strength basically to push this back down again. Market's just opened, as you can hear. We've got a big push down going on at the moment. So I just need to close one of my positions out on one of my accounts. Sorry, one sec. I'll close all of those actually. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just closing out some positions. I got $1,000 of profit. I've just shut. So right. So that's news. That's positions yesterday. Anybody got anything specific they want to have a look at today from an FX perspective? Anybody got any positions that they're in trouble with or anything? Probably closed it out prematurely, but $1,000 is $1,000. I'm going to turn it down. If anybody wants any help with futures stuff as well, let me know. So I know a few of you are using Jigsaw now. So if you want any technical help with Jigsaw or anything, I'd be happy to do that. Right, so let's go through all the FX pairs. So as I said, there's no ADRs, no weeklies, no monthlies. My exposure at the moment, as I said, is mainly Aussie dollar and yen based. I've got some New Zealand, some CAD, some pounds, some US dollar. So I have got additional, I've got no Swissy on at the minute. I don't really want to trade the Swissy at the moment. I think the Swissy is going to potentially continue to power up. So every Swissy opportunity at the moment is a mean reversion trade, and I don't really want to long it. So long anything against the Swissy. So I'm not really interested in Swissy. But I have got some more New Zealand, CAD, pound or US I can take on. I probably won't take any more New Zealand on because it tends to move the same as the Aussie. But CAD, pound and US I'm open to any opportunities. So we'll go through all the FX pairs and have a look and see if there's anything of interest there. Morning, Jesse. I'm in GJ buys and sells on Aussie, Euro, Aussie US and Euro US and New Zealand dollar Swiss. So pound GM in a buy, yeah, that's good. Pound's doing all right actually against the yen at the moment. We had a decent day yesterday, so yeah, I mean it's not going to be flying because it's the pound, but yeah, I mean as long as the yen is continuing to weaken, everything should be going up against the yen. So you know I've got all my positions on as well. Just take that symmetrical triangle off. That's no use to us anymore. We got the bounce at support, which was nice. So yeah, they should be going well. Aussie US and Euro US shorts, yeah, that's good. Yeah, these are all good. Euro US dollar. If we get any, if we get the opposite on the US and they pump the US for any reason, you've got a nice level of support and resistance to come and tap into, and then you're stuck in this accumulation. If it gets through that accumulation, so you know you're looking at no more than sort of 2 ADR move all the way back up to that resistance. So if it does push, it's going to get a bounce at some point. It's the euro, it's weak. New Zealand dollar Swiss. Are you long or short on it, Johannes? Or are you looking to get into it? Okay, so opening range is in. We're just getting an opening range to break to the low. We'll cover New Zealand dollar Swiss in a minute. Let me know if you're long or short or what you're doing with it. Right, I'm going to fly through all the FX pairs. So anybody got anything else they want to discuss, let me know. You're in short on it, New Zealand dollar Swiss, yeah? Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, we've got a nice level of resistance there. Didn't quite tap into that. So with this Swissy at the minute, I mean, it's kind of a case of get in when you can. It's the trouble with these Swissy at the moment, all of these Swissies, is they are so extended from the MA. They kind of all want to pull back, but the Swiss franc is powering up. It's constantly powering up. It's not really weakening at all. So yeah, I'd be looking for shorts on everything. It's just too extended for me. I don't want to take anything that's extended that far down. Got a little bit embedded down there, but good trade. Morning SU. You're the man with the master plan. All the best laid plans and all that. So I'm just going to adjusting. Some stops. Right. So starting at the top, Aussies. So Aussie dollar CAD is a short. We got a bit of a pullback into resistance, which is held very nicely there. So this short looks like it's continuing down. We got this level here as well, potentially, which is where we reacted previously on that leg. So yeah, really nice market structure playing out on this one. Canadian dollar should continue to be strong off the back of oil. It was said yesterday, I think it was Biden said yesterday that they, no, who was it was talking about oil yesterday? Wanting more of it. I think it might have been Johnson. Yeah, without doubt we will require more OPEC plus oil. So it's going to be good for any oil producing country. There's going to be an excess. Any surpluses put in are going to want to be still put in. So I just I'm just mucking about with a trade I've got on at the moment. So yeah, so any oil producing countries are going to do well at the moment. So Canadian is obviously linked to oil, so we should see strength in the CAD, which means everything against the CAD should be coming down. Obviously, it's getting extended and embedded, which you would expect. The Aussie dollar is kind of neutral to strong for me at the moment. So the fact that this is getting battered down so far tells you how strong the CAD is at the minute. It wasn't a deep enough pullback for me. I wanted to get a little bit further back into the 24.72 range to start looking for shorts, and I was eyeing up this as a kind of a sort of double toppy area here. It didn't get anywhere near it, and it just basically just collapsed today. So yeah, so good short, but missed it. Didn't really get a chance to get in on it. So Aussie's coming down quite hard this morning. Actually, they obviously didn't like those rates as much. The rest of the world. So yeah, continuation shorts on this one against the Swiss franc. It's too extended for me. I don't want to be getting into it. I want to be looking for anything that's strong, like the Swiss franc. I'm looking for it to basically either flag and pull back to the 24 so I can get in with a short, or I'm looking for a strong profit take move off of this back to the 24 area, somewhere around here, so that I can look for shorts. So as we start to approach the 24, if we hit ADR highs or anything like that, I'll start putting the reversal alerts EA on to just get me into positions as and when that strength continues. But I don't want to take it this far down. There's a good chance this will just break and go, but I'm not for me at the minute. It doesn't fit with my portfolio anyway. Aussie yen I'm long on. Obviously the yen the Aussie at the moment is having a very weak morning. Had an opportunity to take profit on this morning, which is annoying. Aussie CAD's just hit ADR. There we go. Go on, sell off. So yeah, big strong drop on the Aussie this morning. We just hit ADR. So the market obviously does not like the fact that they've released their rates as expected for some reason. Anyway. So yeah, ADR, but potentially that's the opposite direction. I wouldn't want to be taking an ADR reversal on that. Aussie dollar yen. So I've got that long on. I've got 2 longs on that at the moment. So hopefully this will just be a pullback back down to lows and then push back up again. So I'll just get into another position down here when that's pulled back. Aussie New Zealand, same thing. Had an opportunity to take profit on this one this morning. Wasn't a massive amount. It was about 0.2%. So I was just going to give it the benefit of the doubt. We've had a big strong push on this one. So looking for a pullback continuation. Aussie New Zealand is strong. So even if the Aussie gets weak, the New Zealand will tend to get weaker with it. You usually get the Aussie overpowering the New Zealand. So I'm not worried about this one at all. So just waiting basically for next leg up to get out of profit. I'm not going to get another position on until at least a 50% pullback on this. So we're going to need a 50% pullback for me to be able to get out of this one. Get into another position on it. So ADR hit to the downside really. If that does do that, obviously I'm going to be getting another position long. Aussie US shorts. Again, it's gone without us this morning. Pulled back into this area of support, resistance rather. And nice reaction there. So again, looking for it potentially to break down below these lows, but based on US dollar strength. So we're waiting for FOMC, hopefully to kick that in, give it a bit of a move tomorrow evening. CAD Swiss, I don't want to be long in it. You can see how it's a really good one to look at with relation to currency strength. So we've got a very strong Canadian dollar. We've got a very strong Swiss franc. A strong currency against a strong currency means we don't go anywhere, because when one pushes, the other one is also pushing back, and you get that accumulation. So obviously looking at the other Swiss francs, like the Swissy New Zealand Swiss rather, we've got that sort of movement, and we're sideways on this one. So it shows you how strong the Canadian dollar is, because the Swissy is obviously very strong as well at the moment. So really no directional bias on this one. It's going to come down to who's got the strongest move basically on those two. And at the moment, it's a very difficult thing to sort of call. So I don't really have a bias on it, so I can't really take any trades on it. You could assume that it's going to stay range bound. So somewhere up here is where we would be looking to take a short and then get out somewhere down at these lows down here. But obviously you have got this big propulsion gap, and it's more likely the Swiss franc will kind of go neutral weak, and the Canadian dollar will stay strong, in which case then we will get that fade. But anytime the Swissy steps in with any power, it's going to push it back down again. So it's a very difficult thing to trade at the moment, the CAD Swiss. It's got a very small ADR anyway, so it's not particularly interesting to trade. So yeah, it's difficult. Not really got any bias long or short, and it's range bound, so I'm not interested in taking anything on that one. CAD yen long. I've already got my long on this one. Canadian dollar strength, yen weakness, no brainer. It's a long. You can see it's a long. It's been a long for a long time. So yeah, I'm long. Longing on pullbacks. We're hugging the 24 nicely. You see I've got quite a few trades I've taken on this. It's lovely to trade at the minute. Looking to target the highs at somewhere. At the moment, my initial target is there on this one, which is about that's not a lot, is it? It's about 0.25%, just over 0.3%. So the only reason I'm getting out on this at the moment is because I've got the Aussie dollar yen on, so I'm quite exposed on the yen. I'm trying to get in and out of the yen fast at the minute, because at any moment Kuroda could turn around and power the yen up, and if that happens, I don't really want to be stuck on the wrong side of it with two positions. So that's why I'm sort of getting out fast on this one, because I've got the Aussie yen exposure on. Otherwise, I'd be leaving this to come up to here, which is where I'm expecting it to get to, which is where I was expecting it to get to from there, but we didn't make it. So you can see it's just very, very slow, grindy market structure playing out. Bit of bulls coming in at the minute on the indices. Swiss yen. So Swiss yen is also a long. Swiss franc is very, very strong at the moment. Yen is very weak. Again, it's very easy to see what you want to be doing with it. Didn't quite get extended on the RSI here. That would have been a lovely long if it had got a little bit more of a push down. Didn't make it, and we've gone nowhere really. It's very, very slow at the moment. As I say, the Swiss franc is kind of burst of speed and neutrality, which is what it usually does anyway. But I've been looking for long opportunities, but I want to be getting long sort of down here somewhere really, waiting for that next leg up. But that is dependent on the yen. I've got too much exposure on the yen anyway at the moment myself. Excuse me, got some water. Euro odd long. So this again is a neutral position, because it's kind of, the euro is neutrally weak, the Oz is neutrally strong. So if anything, I'd be kind of looking for longs on it, but it's just not going anywhere. So I haven't really got any bias. It's a long. It's just a sidewaysy mess at the minute, obviously, but technically it's a long at the moment. We've got the euro rates coming in a couple of weeks' time, which is going to increase, so that's likely to push the euro up a little bit. The Aussie is sideways. It's increased its rates this morning, which the market wasn't particularly happy about. Well, so far this morning it's not been very happy about it, but it doesn't mean it's going to go that way for the rest of the day. So there is no bias on it. So you're really only looking, well, I'm only looking at the moment for RSI extensions on these sorts of pairs. We haven't got any. You can see we've got an RSI extension up there, which I took that short on. But it's not getting extended, so I'm not really interested. Shorting up at the highs, you can see you can't really see it because on this time frame, but you see I shorted the highs there, got out, and then it tanked the next day. But that's really all you can do on it, is kind of short the highs and buy sort of range lows at the moment. But I'd like to see RSI extensions on it. So yeah, difficult to trade again. That one is kind of sideways and stuck in the middle of nowhere. Obviously, if you look at this as a range, starting from there, yeah, you're bang in the middle of the range at the moment, which is where you don't want to be taking trades from. You want to trade from extremes. So it's just not in the right place at the moment. Euro CAD is a short. We missed it. I took loads of shorts up there. God, if I'd have stayed in these shorts, look. I don't hold long term, but if that would have been a lovely little hold, that wouldn't it? Back down to the lows. We got a little bounce off the lows, enticed the longs in. Everybody got in long, and now they're stopped out. This is a short based on Canadian dollar strength at the moment, but we may get some euro strength starting to come in. So if you look at this and where we are, I'm going a bit closer on this one actually. This is the area of support identified. We got that bounce at yesterday. Obviously, New York was shut yesterday, so difficult to see, to sort of gauge whether price action yesterday was real or not. I doubt, but we're in a range. We're at the lows of the range. Obviously, with ranges, you can stick your head out. You can come in close to them and not quite get to them. Ranges are not exact levels. So where we are now is potentially a buy opportunity, but the problem is you've got CAD strength, which would expect this thing to drop, and it already has dropped. So for me, I'm not really looking for a long down here. If this was to get really extended, sort of below the 20s, I'd probably look for a mean reversion trade on it. Otherwise, what I'm looking for is pushes up to take shorts at the moment on it. So it is fairly good for a mean reversion at the minute, but it's not extended on RSI. We've had this big push down, which has really not done a lot. It's been a strong push. We've just had quite a lot of weakness from one currency. So it is a good potential range play from the lows. But my bias on this at the moment is the opposite direction. I want to be shorting it. So I'm leaving that for the minute. It could well just fly away, but I do not want to be swimming against the tide on this. It's a short. So we've got some selling starting to come in on indices. So I just need to move the trade. Next leg starting down. Potentially nice wick rejection on the DAX. Break of those lows. We should start another leg down and get down to the gap fill. See if we can get it. A little bit of selling momentum came in there, but it's not sustained at the minute. So yeah, EuroCAD, a hard one. It's up to you. If you like range bound trades from a mean reversion perspective, yes. But what if this was extended on RSI when we got here? I would have think like that one there. I would have thought, yeah, lovely, but it's not. It's not extended, which means it's got potential, as we know, to push further. And certainly this morning it's having a go at that. But if you look at this from a lot of people will be looking at this from sort of smart money concepts, if you like, perspective. They'll be looking at liquidity run on this. Obviously this is a big low. There's a lot of liquidity sitting under there. Yeah. Everybody yesterday, or so far this morning in Asia, has seen that hit and bounce. So there's a lot of liquidity sitting there, which they are now taking out. So everybody that's gone long in Asia is now dead. If this now breaks back above those highs, yeah, if we get a 3-bar reversal or a bullish engulfing or a hammer forming down at these lows, everybody's going to enter long. It's just such an obvious target when you get down to this sort of area to keep stopping people out, potentially to push it back up, but the bias is wrong on it. The Canadian dollar should be strengthening, the euro should be neutrally weak. So I don't like it. I just don't like it. It smells like a trap to me. But if you want to take it and start scaling in, the problem you've got if you start to position trade this is, where are you going to get into your next position on this? Yeah. Look at this from the daily. Look at it from a weekly perspective. Where are you going to get in your next trade? Where's the next level of potential support? You're talking 350 pips. That's over 3.5 ADR away. There's just no levels to look at to the left to say, right, if this doesn't hold, I've got nothing to prop myself up on over there. So just don't know where it's going to go. So just not interested in it at the minute. Euro Swiss, same thing. I'm not longing the Swissy, not longing anything against the Swissy. The Swissy's still strong. Not interested. Euro bias is still short. Euro pound has been a horrible grindy mess. You can kind of get, I'm waiting for RSI extensions on it. But it hasn't given any. You've had a trade there, you've had a trade there. There's not been anything for the last few weeks on it. So, it's 53 ADR. It's the tightest ADR pair of the lot. It's just not going anywhere. It's a weak currency against a weak currency with no fundamental news that's bolstering either of them. It's just not going anywhere. If it pushes down, I mean, to be honest, at the moment with this one, you could take a 60-40 bounce, couldn't you? Yeah, every time it gets extended below 40, take a long. Every time it gets extended above 60, take a short. It's just not going anywhere. It's tight, it's range bound. You want to be in and out of it fast off of M5. But yeah, I just, not for me. Euro yen, weakest of the longs, along with the pound. But it is still pushing up with all yen pairs at the moment. As long as the yen remains weak, as long as Kuroda doesn't step in and put any monetary policy changes in place that's going to give us any reason to go long yen, we should be longing everything against the yen. So any pullbacks to 24s, haven't got into this because I was already exposed on the yen. but you could have taken this one long. I think quite a few people did. It was RSI extension, it was down at the 24, bias is obviously long because of the yen. You would have been in profit on it, same as the rest. So it's longs, it's pulling back at the moment, so potentially we are pulling back. We've put in a new high, so this could be the new market structure forming here. We didn't get up to that level, and you know the trouble with all of these is you've got so many levels you could possibly react at on these. You know, there's lots of hurdles, but it is a long bias. So we have just broken out above new highs for the first time. So this is potentially a pullback. So in a minute, you're going to get a reversal. You're going to get a support rectangle forming when we pull back down into here somewhere. And then there's potential for a reversal, take a long and take an entry on that one. So it looks good, Euro Yen for longs. Economic forecasts tomorrow, Lagarde on Friday. So there's not really any news catalysts for Euro, so yeah, it's a long at the moment. Euro New Zealand is very, very much the same as the Euro Pound. It's got a much nicer ADR on it, but it's weak as you like. Market structure is just beautiful, but weak. So longs, so you want to be taking pullbacks, again 60-40. When you've got something that looks like a slug like this, 60-40 is really your new 70-30. But you know damn well that when you get into it under 40, that's going to be the one where it's going to push down and you're going to get that move start, which is why I don't do it. I've been caught out on 60-40s before. This is the trend following settings for the EA are that basically in line with 24 and 72, taking longs below 40, and it's really, really good. It works beautifully, extracts a lot of money out of the market until that trend stops, and it just then you're going to draw down because you've got so much room to go with a squeeze. You tend to get in decent drawdown, but that's a change in market condition from a trend to a range. So just not really for me at the moment. It's not moving far enough, fast enough, hard enough or anything. There's a lot better pairs like Euro, US dollar. So this is a short. Aussie dollar, US dollar has also hit ADR, so that Aussie's really not happy today. I'm going into drawdown on my Aussie. Both of the Aussies. Euro, US dollar. Again, bias on this one is that. You can see I've been shorting the hell out of this every time we've got anywhere on a pullback. So yeah, shorts, you're either in it or you've been in it and we've made money out of it. So any pullbacks, looking for short opportunities at the moment, it's pushing down, so not really interested. If you want to play the mean reversion off the lows, we're getting down towards them at the minute. ADR today basically is that low for a mean reversion trade, but it's wrong bias. I want to be shorting it. Pound odd. At the moment, we're stuck on the pound odd, completely sideways. We are getting some decent moves, as you can see over the week. We're getting a decent push up, but we're not making any directional moves anywhere. We are literally just pushing down, pushing back, pushing down, pushing back. So it's a lovely trade, lovely position trade pair at the moment. Fairly decent ADR, 148. You can pretty much take any mean reversion on this at the moment because the pound is weak. The Aussie is kind of a bit neutrally strong at the minute. It's the best I can kind of describe that one at the minute. So any mean reversion trade on the RSI is good at the moment to take. So just waiting for RSI extensions on it. Haven't had any for the last week. Week before we did, which I got into and shorted nicely and got out of, as you can see. So that was the RSI extension on the 4 hour, which I entered and then exited. So yeah, it looks good for mean reversion. You could take mean reversion on the hourly as well. Yeah, there's one there. one there, which is the one I took. That was the hourly and the 4-hour extension, that one. So that's really the plays on this one at the moment. But as I say, you know, the RSIs are flat at the minute, so there's no opportunities there. No directional bias on it really. This is the area that we were looking to hold as resistance here, which is held twice nicely. We're holding these lows at the minute. You know, it's just tight range bound. So any kind of strength on it, you want to mean revert it. But again, today, nothing. Pound CAD is a short. Wanted to be in shorts up here. I was in the Euro CAD. Can't. So yeah, basically didn't take this. But yeah, shorts. So looking for any kind of pullback to the 24 to get in short on it. Pound Swiss is a mean reversion. Not interested in longing anything against the Swissy. Until the Swissy shows me it's actually going to show some signs of weakness, I'm not really interested in a mean reversion on it. It is starting to go. So we have got the start of a W reversal. We've had the reversal alert on the 4-hour. So it is looking like the Swissy is giving up a little bit, and we may well get a pullback. But I don't want to mean revert this in case that Swissy just powers up again. That is a fundamental shift of interest rates that the market was completely knocked sideways by. So I don't want to get in the way of that. I'd much rather, the best play on this for me, from my opinion, is waiting for us to get up into a support resistance area and short it. So again, not set up, not in the right place. We're completely stuck on the DAX. Lovely wicks though. Wick. Bearish. Just not got any bears. So it's looking bearish. Just need them to actually start the next leg down. Pound yen. Long. You can see I longed it down there. So yeah, longs on the pound yen. Nice pullback to the 72 rather. Market structure looks like it's going in for a new high, and that will take you up into that double top. So at the moment, because the pound is weak and the yen is weak, we're getting a kind of contraction. So this is not a bad looking symmetrical triangle forming at the moment. Let me just draw that on properly. So symmetrical triangle formation, we're contracting. So eventually what will happen is we will contract to a point where we need a breakout. As long as the bias is still negative yen, it should be a breakout high. So take any longs, pull back to the 72s, double bottoms, RSI extensions on any time frame. If we get an RSI extension on the hourly, if we push down, get an ADR hit, get an RSI extension to the lows, any kind of opportunity to get longs on it. But right now, bang in the middle of where we are in the range, so it's not tradable. New Zealand dollar, you can see we've got it marked up on the chart, range bound. I don't have a bias on this at all, so be happy to take shorts up there and longs down there. Not right now. If we get an ADR hit to the upside, short. Get ADR hit to the downside, long. Just need it to move. This is what ADR is for, to tell you that we've had a bigger than normal move. And after a bigger than normal move, likely with pairs like this, you're going to get a profit take move. So we're just waiting for it to actually do something, and it's just not done anything. But at the moment, big push up based on the New Zealand and the Aussie weakness. Pound US dollar is a short. I'm in short. I'm in profit. I'm waiting for US dollar strength. What's that? I'm not going to set a TP on this. Just see where we are on the weekly. Yeah, I mean, it anywhere really. I mean, I'm going to put a TP down there. It's not going to get down there. You never know. You know, FOMC, non-farm payroll, could do. Indices are dropping. So yeah, shorts. I'm already in short on this pullback. I was waiting basically to see if we got up to there to put another position on, as I said yesterday. So the whole play, just to explain why I got in short here, because we're not extended on RSI. The reason I got in short yesterday was because we've got this really good rejection area here. So I saw us starting to reject that, which is why I entered short. I've got a backup here. Yeah, these wicks. So this support, we smashed through it eventually, came up, turned into resistance. We know that is a strong support resistance area. By the time, if we were to go sideways up to there, we've got the 24 coming down on top, and we've got this big area of balance for an entire week where we're going to have an awful lot of selling positions. We know that because we broke to the downside. We know that they were building and accumulating sells here because that's the way we broke. So when we get back here, they're going to defend that position and try and add to their orders. So everything was going for shorts on this. Resistance, secondary resistance, accumulation break to the downside, 24, long-term downtrend, US dollar bias long, pound US dollar, pound bias short. The only thing we were missing was an RSI extension. So confluence, when I talk about confluence in the course, this is the sort of stuff I'm talking about. I've got many reasons to take a position short on this. New Zealand dollar CAD, short. Everything's short against the CAD. You just got to try and find an opportunity to get in again on the CAD pairs at the minute. The CAD's so strong, you just got to find an opportunity to get in. It's very hard because it's not really given any pullbacks. So again, shorts, if you can get back here, like I got the shorts in here, if you can get back to the 24.72 area, that's where you want to be looking short. New Zealand dollar Swiss, again, started to look like potential M pattern reversal. We got the reversal alert, but again, you're swimming very much against the tide trying to get along on that. Very hard work. So yeah, not the best opportunity in the world, I don't think, unless we get back to there. So the mean reversion play obviously is the gap. We've got this whacking great propulsion gap here, and then we've got another big gap after this accumulation. So there's two big targets to aim for, except this thing is just so strong at the moment. So again, not something I really want to get interested in. Sorry, one sec. Just got a trade on managing. Adele, one question. Your big picture and scaling distance is based on daily time frame. Now, if we want to adapt this system and work on H1 as our big picture, what other changes must we have? Not quite sure I understand the question. The big picture and scaling distance is based on the daily time frame. Yeah, so if you're position trading, you are working on, you need to get into positions basically a certain distance apart. Yeah, so I use roughly half an ADR to an ADR between trades. If you're using the hourly to get in, you still want to be scaling your trades. You're talking about using hourly as your entry time frame. And whether you use M15, M5 or hourly as your entry time frame, you still don't want to be getting in too tight. We know that price moves quite often in 3 or 5 ADR pushes. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what time frame you're getting in. You want to space your positions out. If you're position trading, if you're using a stop loss, do what you like. But if you're using position trading, you don't want to get in too tight. If you get in there and you say, actually, I want to get in there and I want to get in there, and this thing goes 5 ADR against you, you've got 3 positions which are going into drawdown, not 1. So the spacing is there to safeguard you from squeezes, basically. The market will squeeze. It will push hard in one direction. Yeah, this is exactly what's happening now, yeah? Anybody that is long anything against the Swiss franc is being squeezed. Yeah. So we're on a, I don't know, we stop there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 day squeeze so far. 2.5 weeks. Anybody that's hit the long button against the Swiss franc has been squeezed for 2.5 weeks. You need to be spacing 30 to 60 pips apart, because that squeeze there, for example, since you were in your trades up here somewhere, has moved 336 pips, 5 ADR. And now it's starting to chill out. So you doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at trading, your positions, if you're position trading, should always be spaced nicely based on daily movement, because that's what the market does. The market moves a certain amount in a day. What we're looking to do when we're in a position, Aussie New Zealand, I've got 2 on, is we're looking to keep our break-even exit within the average daily range, because we know that price will push its average daily range, and when it does, it runs out of steam. So we need a push, an ADR push in our direction to get us out, which is why we're trying to keep this break even within ADR to give us our exit if we don't want it. I mean, obviously, if your bias is long, you would just hold it. But if you're thinking, right, this is wrong, I need to get out of this trade, that's how you get out with no loss. Does that make sense? If I understood the question right, or have I completely misunderstood what you're talking about? New Zealand dollar yen is a long. Based on yen, are these? I'm just seeing whether it's the Swiss with the yen. So we got a bit of yen strength coming through at the moment. So this is all yen's dropping. So this isn't Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar. This is yen pushing. So yen's pushing down at the moment. So at the moment we are still long everything against the yen based on Kuroda. Just making sure he hasn't come out and said anything. Japanese PMIs. Spanish PMIs that was. So yeah, so basically still longs, just pulling back at the minute, looking for opportunities to go long. So with this one, not extended on 4 hourly or hourly, but if you wanted to drop down to M15, stick the EA on, just let it get you in on the next long if you need some yen exposure. New Zealand dollar, US dollar is a short. It's very, very close to the moving average. It's not really moving a lot, this one, basically because we've got very little strength on the US dollar at the minute. But it is a short. So again, we haven't had any RSI extensions on this to get into for absolutely ages. Pullbacks to moving averages, we haven't managed to do that either. So it's just not given any opportunities over the last sort of 3 weeks to really get into any trades. It's not really going anywhere. Tiny ADR 67. We're in a contracting range basically at the minute. We've just broken out to the lows, so the market structure is holding up short at the minute. So looking for a pullback, but that's not enough of a pullback really for me to get into. So shorts if you want it. The US pairs, so we are coming up for non-farm payroll and for FOMC this week. We've got a double bubble this week. So big potential moves on the US dollar ahead of us. Hopefully we're going to get some strength on the US dollar. So US dollar CAD is poised very nicely for a long at the moment. Bear in mind this is a bias long against a bias long, so it's probably not the best one in the world to take at the moment. But saying that, it's nicely sitting on the 24. It's pulling back 38 to 50 on the fib. So for a continuation long, this is kind of where we would be looking to get into it. I'm just worried about the strength of the Canadian dollar at the moment in taking longs on this. So it's a good looking long opportunity, but it's a slightly riskier long opportunity than others out there. Things like the euro and the pound and potentially the Aussie and the New Zealand against the US are much better shorts, I think, which is why I'm on pound US short rather than US dollar CAD long. But potentially this could be a decent long opportunity. You've got the 72 supporting you if we get a push down. Bear in mind what could happen this week. We could well have FOMC talking the US dollar down, and on non-farm payroll they will pump it. We could have it going the opposite. We could have both taking it long. We don't know, do we? So, but it's in a very good spot. We've got a double bottom potential as well for a little bit of a push off of there. So it's looking pretty good. We've had a reversal alert just happen on M15 yesterday. We didn't make a new low, so we've got a nice potential multi-day W forming. We need to break out of these highs really to give us any confidence, but by the time we've done that, we'll be running into ADR. So, you know, it's a strong against a strong currency, so it's not really going anywhere. It's really a case of any flurries we get on news releases is what you want to be taking advantage of. So you need to position yourself ready so that when you get a news release you can exit the position, because there's every opportunity we might just do that for ages, because these guys are really battling it out. They're very strong at the moment. US dollar Swiss is holding up pretty well. We are starting to roll over, very similar pattern playing out at the moment, but again, Swiss franc. So if we get some strength on the US dollar, it just takes a little bit of Swissy to pop this back down again. So from a mean reversion perspective, everybody's looking to play this fade. It looks like it's started to play out on multiple pairs, but at any moment this could change. So I can't bring myself to long it. But it looks pretty good. It's just not for me at the moment. It's just a bit too risky. I've been stung on the US dollar Swiss in the past. This is a great example of a squeeze. Yeah, there's an example of why you space your positions half an ADR to an ADR apart. Yeah, if you got in that squeeze, you have got no escape. You're not getting out of it until that thing is ready. So if you get in there, 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 you get in there. Before you know it, you're in 7 positions. You're not even a third of the way into the squeeze yet. You're stuffed. That's an account blower. Aussie New Zealand ADR. Really weak Aussie this morning. We didn't like that news. So US dollar Swiss is technically a long, but I don't like it myself personally. US dollar yen I do like as a long. You can see I've been longing this for a while. So yeah, I missed this entry down here, but I've got other yens on. I've got CAD yen, had at the time CAD yen on, Aussie yen on, still got them on. So this was a lovely opportunity to get in on an extension on the hourly. But yeah, longs. If we break these highs, this 135 level that we are mucking about with at the moment is the level called by Kuroda for him to say, I'm happy for us to get there. We got there. And since then, we've been using that as support. We haven't, however, managed to make a high because we are lacking the US dollar strength. So I think today, this week rather, we've got the opportunity to get the US dollar to power out of these highs. And if that happens and the yen remains weak, we're going to get some really good upside potential on this. The entry really was a couple of days ago. But if we get a pullback on this, you could potentially get into another long. But again, think about how far away you are from that 72. What happens if the 24 fails? The 72 becomes support. Yeah. So you've got potentially quite a long drop on this if this is going to go the other way before we get any kind of pullback. So it's a hard one to trade when it's so extended to the upside, but I like it much more long than I do short. So that's it there on FX pairs. Hopefully that's covered all of that. Gold, no idea. Guess as good as mine. Short at the minute. Based on obviously potential US dollar strength as well. We just had a nice support bounce on that one last week. But I don't trade gold. it's bearish, and assuming we are going to get US dollar strength, it should remain bearish. But equally, we could stay in this range, couldn't we? And sort of try and push back up into these highs somewhere. I have no idea. Gold is just a mess. At the moment, we've got a problem with gold in the fact that gold exports from Russia have been banned, or rather gold imports from Russia have been banned by the G7. So gold's movement and use as a currency has been restricted. So because Russia holds a very vast quantity of gold. So I get the feeling gold will probably devalue as it's used less. It's not becoming any more scarce, it's just becoming less usable as a commodity. So it is much in demand for electronic manufacture still, and it still will be. The problem being the biggest stockpile of it is sitting under Russia. So it's a very difficult thing to trade from a fundamental basis, and from a technical basis, as you can see, it's just a sideways mess at the minute. So not really interested in gold, never am anyway. DAX, so looking at the indices, DAX, basically we are still short all indices. At the moment we are pushing down and filling in the gap, which is lovely. Anybody in the gap trade today? I've just entered another position on the futures shorts until we get this sorted, because I think they're all going to want to come down here. So yeah, indices short. On the daily, we had that one little push off of the lows, and at the moment we're sitting in an inside bar. We got the gap fill completed yesterday, so we are just range bound. We're looking for a break of the lows to start the next leg down. So my bearish bias on that one is still intact. Nasdaq, beautiful market structure is just so gorgeous on this thing at the minute. It's just lovely for the last couple of months. 3-bar reversal, it's just looking great. We've got a gap fill to the downside to do on that one as well. So yeah, bearish, holding the 24, lovely. Yeah, continuing shorts on it, just trying to get some strength. Obviously markets were shut yesterday. We could have a really big open this afternoon. The German S&P figures have just come out for manufacturing, just in case you're interested. Hasn't done anything. So yeah, continuation shorts, same as the S&P and the same as the Dow, all short. So just waiting. Bitcoin, stuck. It's toying with everybody, isn't it? Everybody that's said this is the lows and they want to buy loads of it, it's toying with them. They're all sitting there now, adding to positions, sweating, waiting for that break to happen. I reckon it's doing that. But yeah, horrible. Oil, we're pushing up again. So we had the drop from, we had basically an $10 drop. We are holding a structure high at the minute. So market structure break, yeah, is holding. So potentially longs. We should be looking oil long. Back up to 125 and up to 150 in the next 12 months. So if you want to position trade this, you want to be looking for longs. So here's somebody in the Telegram group. Good day. Any pair to trade? Yep, there's 28 of them. Take your pick. I love it when people say any pair to trade. What time frame are you trading? 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, hourly, 4 hourly, daily, weekly, swing trading, scalping? A bit of detail might be handy. So yeah, longs on oil. So nice little pullback this morning and pushing up. So obviously CAD will be in line with this. So as long as oil is in demand as it is, and the barrel count doesn't get too high on the weekly oil figures, we should see continuation upside in oil. There is demand for it, and obviously UK's come out and said, yeah, we're going to need a little bit more, please. So it's going to continue to go that way as long as the Russian conflict continues. And the gas pipelines obviously in contention, all that sort of stuff. Well, we're still inside the opening 5-minute range, Diamond just said. I've been considering getting into the DAX short, but at the moment I've been slow and choppy. Yeah, we are a little bit stuck. We need to break that low. I mean, by the time we break that low, you're going to be done. So you need to be buying the pullbacks. The market structure on it is very bearish. It's just don't seem to have an awful lot of strength at the minute. So Bitcoin is doing consolidation, breakdown, consolidation, breakdown. Yeah, so it's a short Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin. Although it's at the moment it's. Yeah, I mean it's just tight. It's you don't want to be longing. You don't want to be buying Bitcoin. I feel so sorry for people that trade this. The market, the world has been brainwashed mainly by Binance into crypto, and it's got no fundamentals. You can't trade something that doesn't have a fundamental. What is propping this thing up? It's just, oh, hello. Sorry, I just need to, nice big dump there on the DAX. Well, on the indices, basically. I've got a short on at the minute. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I could just see this unraveling itself all the way back down, definitely to 10,000, potentially lower. This thing could go right back to fives. I mean, it's just devaluing at such a rate. So, don't know. Anyway, I don't trade it. Any idea about Jigsaw? What are the advantages and disadvantages of using it? Sorry, I'm new to it. Sorry for too many questions. So Jigsaw. Yeah, I mean, to me, there's loads of advantages to it. I love it. But there's Jigsaw was first. That's why I like it. MT4 was first. That's why I like it. The main advantages to me are for Jigsaw are the strength meters, the reconstructed tape. Can't really see that, can you? Let me just move my pen a bit thicker. Yeah, reconstructed tape. The ladder is first class. The heat map tool is fantastic. It's just got everything. It just needs everything you need to read order flow. Should you be going long or short? What's the delta doing? It just everything's here. Everything's in one place. I just like it. I tried as well using Boocamp, and Boocam's good. I just find this more functional than Boocamp for some reason. I don't know why. Jigsaw is amazing. It's like cheating. Yeah, it's like cheating to a certain extent. But this is what you won't walk into any prop firm, and when I say prop firm, I mean proper prop firm with a desk, not FTMO, Top Step. Proper prop firms that exist in the real world in London before the online guys came on. You won't walk into any prop firm and see them looking at anything but a ladder. This is what they use. They don't use this. Charts, irrelevant. I don't use charts. I'm not using any charts here for any reason other than telling me what volume is doing. Yeah, what's the volume doing? What direction is the volume going? I'm not looking at charts, candlestick patterns or anything. Volume. It's all about volume. 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 It's all volume. Where's the market doing? Where is everybody positioned? Where are the big guys sitting? You know, this is important stuff if you want to scalp. But yeah, it's not for everybody. It's just different. You know, it's like I said with indicators. Try the indicators that I built. I built the indicators because they helped me to learn market structure and they helped me to see market structure. I don't really need them anymore, but that's what they were developed for. ADR, you know, all the indicators that I use are there for a reason. They're telling me a specific market condition. You need to try everything. Try using heat map tools, yeah. That is a sign of absorption. We sold into there massively and the buyers stepped in and absorbed all those sellers' orders. So now we're going to take a second run up at that level. If this is a proper reversal point here, we will see that also fail. We will see a second absorption coming in here. If it isn't, we'll break it. This is what we call a head fake. So we've moved down, out the lows, pulled back in, and now we're going to come back down and retest them, and then we'll probably come back down to about here and then we'll pull back. It's just market structure, but you're seeing where also the position of the orders are in the market. So you know roughly where that head fake is going to happen, probably somewhere around about 28.50. Just it's like a X-ray vision. And volume profile is key as well. This is massively important. Yeah, candlestick can't show you. If you look at the last hour candlestick on the S&P, you won't be able to see why it pushed up and pulled back down again. If you look at the last 15-minute candles, you'll have a load of wicks. You won't know why those wicks are there. I know exactly why those wicks are there because we rotated volume there and we rotated volume there. That's why those wicks are there. And the sellers are in control of the market, not because of anything else. If I saw on a volume profile a hammer, a shooting star rather, like that, and it didn't have a volume profile like that to back me up, I wouldn't take a short. Because if this volume profile was flat with a D on the bottom of it, for example, like that, in a shooting star, that doesn't tell me that this is bearish. That tells me the opposite is bullish. So you need to know why that candlestick was formed. That's, I think, the advantage of Jigsaw. But then again, you've got to trade futures, which is $12.50 a tick. But then again, you can make 2 to 3k a day. You can also lose 2 to 3k a day. It's not all happiness. It's pain. Pain along the way. But yeah, Jigsaw's great. But it's a different thing. And obviously this is massively helpful as well. Tick strike. Okay, anybody got anything else they want to cover on FX side of things? So just broken that low on the DAX. We are holding up down here. A few buyers starting to step in. So that's what I've got on at the moment. Temporary pullback on the Aussies and the New Zealands at the present. We've hit ADR. Oh, that's a lovely ADR bounce. Aussie, New Zealand. Look at that for a textbook ADR bounce. That. Doing. Aussie yen. What's that done? Not quite ADR on that. So there's a few ADR hits. Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss, Aussie New Zealand, Aussie US, and pound odd. So it's obviously all Australian dollar, and that's all been caused by the Australian cash. Got cash rate, interest rate, 1.35% came out as expected. So the market's obviously having a bit of a negative reaction to that. The other thing you've got to bear in mind today is you've got to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt, price action today, because we've had a massive holiday in the US. So there's going to be a lot of volume coming in this afternoon, which is yesterday's orders that haven't been executed. So whatever volume you see coming in today is potentially going to be just market orders being executed that are not necessarily directionally biased. So if we see a lot of movement today in the wrong direction, oops, sorry, it doesn't necessarily mean that trade is wrong. It just means that we've got a lot of execution of orders that needs to be done by the banks. So when New York opens, I think today we'll get a very volatile open in the New York session. But yeah, we'll see. Euro US dollar has just hit ADR as well. So yeah, a lot of volatility you see coming in today. Woohoo! That's yeah. Euro is not happy today. Some good selling coming in at the minute. Gaps pretty much there on the DAX, so if you are short on the DAX gap fill, might be a good idea to start getting out. I'm just going to scale out of a couple of my positions. So there you go. So that's what I was talking about, that break. And the 28 level I was talking about acting as support is here. Because I can see the guys in the market. This is the strongest area here, really. So this area here is key. If we break this area, we've got a good chance of dropping. I'll take one more off. Okay, flat. So $637 that trade, and sitting in 475 in profit. So it's $1,000 move. Still going. So buyers tried to step in there, got run over. Still very bearish. We've got massive sell orders coming into the market. No reason to get out of this trade at all at the minute. I'm going to lock in. Actually, no, I'm not going to leave it there. Actually, what have I done on this one? 6. I'm going to lock $1,000 in, so I'll lock in 350. There. So we got this really, really light area of volume that we're in now. So from here, from that node there, really light volume. We're starting to build a volume cluster here. Yeah, so my stop is sitting behind this volume cluster at the minute. So if we rotate this volume cluster here and build more volume like this, and it breaks to the downside, I will just continue to trail this stop down behind volume. My equivalent of tick strike is when I hear a block sell from Jigsaw. Yeah, I've tried using that.
Welcome to Price Squawk.
Welcome to Price Squawk. Oh no, I don't want to register. Go away. Yeah, I've tried using this thing, but I tried to replicate Tick Strike with it. I couldn't get it to work. I just couldn't get it to do the same thing. So, yeah. Block sell basically. So it shouts at you when these big orders come in. Is basically what it does, but it's not as good. Okay, so I'm sitting behind this big order. If this is a real order here, hopefully that will step in and defend this area, but I'd much rather see them just rotate this and then break down again. That's yesterday's close on the Nasdaq, on the S&P. So this is in effect the gap fill on the S&P in futures. Yeah, this is the reconstructed tape. That's called Price Squawk. Look, Price Squawk. This is what it's called. The reconstructed tape audio is called Price Squawk. It's a third-party plugin. It's a third-party piece of software like Tick Strike that they've licensed. But yes, I don't know. It drives me mental in the New York Open. It just goes block buy, block sell, block buy, block sell, block buy, block sell. You haven't got a clue what it's doing. If it goes block sell, block sell, block sell, I mean, I can see it. The thing is, I can see it, so I use this all the time. It's actually set up wrong. Actually, it should be set on 10s this morning because we're in Globex. But I watch this when I'm in a trade, so I don't really need it shouting at me. Tick Strike just, I think, is the tuning on Tick Strike as to market movement, I think, is better, and I just like to hear that I'm on the right side. So I like to hear the ticks down when I'm short. If I get a massive amount of ticks up and it goes quiet, then I hear another load of ticks up, quiet, another load of ticks up. That makes me think I want to get out of my trade. So that's why I like Tick Strike. It's a little bit different, but they both do pretty much the same thing. So we just dropped down on 3,000 contracts, pulled back on 2.7, and we pushed down on 3. So this is why I love this chart. Yeah, this helps me from a volume perspective. So when I open up my platform, I can see the volume, but I've no idea how that volume played out. This shows me how the volume played out. So we entered 6,000 contracts short. We pulled back on 2,000. We came down by 6,000. We pulled back on 1.7. We came down by 3. We pulled back on 2.7. We pushed down on 3.2. So as long as these pullbacks are on lower volume than the initial move, it's telling me to go short. I can see it though. I mean, because obviously the lines paint based on that theory anyway. So. But it helps me to see how recent this cluster here, how recent was this cluster, and how was it formed over time. Yeah, because what volume profile cannot do, and this is the other massive advantage of Jigsaw. All charting platforms have some kind of volume profile. But what Jigsaw helps with is, I don't know how that was made. This volume profile here, I don't know how it was formed. I just know that it's been formed, and that's where the largest volume, this is the point of control where the most volumes come in today. But how did it form? It formed in a bearish manner. That's putting, again, talk about confluences. That with that, and that is all telling me that big sellers coming in, trying to be absorbed, bang. Support resistance is holding. It's confluence. But again, it's seeing it all in one place just gives you that overall feel for it. We are stalling out down here. Big contracts coming in though, so we are going the right way. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put a 16 tick trailer on. So this will trail by 16 ticks. So if we get any violent pushes up, I'm just going to get out of the trade. And I'm also going to just put my exit down there at $1,000. Let's make it a nice round 1,000 on that contract. So either I will get out behind this volume cluster. If this volume cluster breaks here, it's going to fly up through there. And I don't want to take 200, I want to take 500. 500. If we get a flurry, I'll get out with 1,000 or I'll get out with 500. And just let the market decide for me. What do you look at to indicate a possible stall out? You'll see volume. You can't. A potential fallout will be large at the moment. Large buying volume coming in and pushing up. So lots of buying volume coming in here, but it's all been absorbed by sellers because we're pushed down. If I see a load of buying coming in and we're actually making headway, then that is potentially us stalling out. So if we pull back, there's an opportunity for a little long there. But I'm not looking for longs, I'm looking for shorts. This is my bias. This will tell me when my bias is starting to be wrong. Yeah, and this, this tells you as well. Yeah, so this volume cluster here, if we break above here, and this goes green, and I see a load of blue entering here, and some big blue volume clusters coming in, they're all signs of, well, there's a lot of buyers coming through, so I want to get out. But for an entry, what you're talking about, I think, Trevor, is trying to pick the bottom. I never try and pick the bottom. I'm always trying to get in on the trend. I'm never looking for I never look for a mean reversion. I'm never looking for that entry there. I'm looking for that entry there. That's happened. We've pushed up on higher volume. I'm looking for the low volume pullback to enter long. This is what, if you do the course, Trevor, that comes free with Jigsaw, with Peter, he will talk a lot about perma faders. These are the perma faders. The mean reversion traders. I don't do mean reversion, don't do perma fade. So I see it. Yeah, I don't try and anticipate. I assume I'm right until I'm wrong. So at the moment the market is coming down. Until Delta shows me that there's some big buying coming in, until I see a load of absorption here, I won't get out of being short. Even if this does push above there, I'm not going to go long bias because my bias is short. If this pushes up above there and screams up, it's only going to get up to somewhere around there. If this is 8,000 contracts short. If it pushes up to here on 3,000 contracts or 2,000 contracts, that's just another low volume pullback, isn't it? 2.7, 1.7, 2.1. If it pushes up to there on 5, I'll be thinking, that's a bit more volume. And then I'll be thinking, right, this could be where we're starting to change our direction. Let's see if the market backs it up. Tick, 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 green. Loads of buy orders coming in. Loads of red bubbles. that get absorbed by blue bubbles and we push higher. Yeah, loads of selling, making no progress. That's absorption. So we're selling. We have 50 contracts, 50 contracts, 50 contracts, 50 contracts, 50 contracts, and what we do is we go doing, 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 doing. We're not making any headway. They're dumping the hell out of this, and we're not getting anywhere. What's that tell you? Sellers have run out of steam. Everyone that's dumped all those contracts is going to go, this ain't working. They're going to become buyers and it's going to pop. That's when you get that high volume move. Then you've got a decision to make. But until that happens, I'm selling every pullback and I'm adding on every break. Until the market proves me otherwise. Yeah, you got to be less anticipatory, I think, in scalping futures than more paying attention to the facts. I mean, look at tick strike. Has this given you any indication you should be doing anything but short in the last half an hour? Has this gone green at all? Have you seen any whacking great blue orders coming in? No. Has Delta done anything to say I should be longing this? Just no clues to go long, and this is why I use this all in conjunction and why I like this. This is particularly why I like tick strike. If this thing's been screaming negative ticks all day, just not interested in going long. It's just a feeling. Like that's what I say. You can't teach discretionary trading. This is just stuff that tells you the same thing. The more of it tells you the same thing, the more you will automatically want to do something. But there are clues that you'll pick up, like massive volume, red, and a rejection. If we get another push down and a massive volume of red and another rejection, we know that there's way more buyers in the market than sellers. But I'll know that because tick strike will be going green and telling me there's a load of positive ticks, a load of large volume. This will be large blue orders. But the minute we're sitting on 10,000 contracts and Delta's falling out of bed, I'm not interested in anything but shorts. I'm just going to... 8, 6. My there you can see the P&L down there. It's 600 banked, 840, 900. So that's target basically. I'm just going to move that down a little bit. I'm looking for $1,500 on this account a day, and I've basically this trade's done it. So what I'm going to do is just in case we get a cheeky breakout of the lows, we'll probably get a pop. So I'm just going to take advantage of the pop for another $500, but I really want to get out there as a minimum because that hits my target for the day. And then I'll switch accounts. And this is something I was talking about in the Telegram group about Apex, having multiple Apex accounts. If you've got more than one account, now I'm done with this one, I'll flick over to an Apex evaluation and I'll trade an evaluation now and see if I can get some more funding. And it will stop me trading this account. Stop me over trading this one. I've done it. I've hit the target for the day on this one. So pullbacks into volume. For new leg down. And obviously the volume is 11,000 down, so I'm looking for lighter volume. So I'm out of that. So that's 1487 closed on that trade. Done. Yeah, good morning for me. I closed out all those other trades as well. $250 on 4 other accounts, 1 live, 2 other evaluations as well. Oh, I forgot about that. I've already traded this one. So that's actually 15, 16, 17, 1800 on that account this morning. 2.5 grand. Very nice. So now I'll switch over and trade one of the Apex accounts in evaluation. Actually, I need to trade my funded account, really. So that's the beauty of it. These Apex accounts at the moment are so cheap. Like $30 for 100k evaluation, $50 for 100k evaluation. You just buy 10 of them. Yeah, spend $500 if you're serious about trading futures. Right now is an opportunity to spend $500 and potentially get $1 million of funding. And if you blow 5 of those accounts, you've still got 5 and they've cost you $50. It's so cheap. They do these every now and again. Just watch yesterday's close. So we got this low here. This is the actual low of the session. This is yesterday's close. We will quite possibly get a good pop down to 38.10 in a second. Big selling volume came up, absorbed all those buyers. So watch this pop. So we're looking for a fast action move all the way down to that sort of level. Either that or we're getting absorbed. Right, so that's absorption. Large volume. Yeah. Sold into the lows. No progress. So the buyers have absorbed that. All that volume that just came in there, the buyers have absorbed it all, and now we're pulling back. That does not mean that we now need to be buyers. It means that the sellers ran out. Now, if all these sellers coming in here are not backed up by more sellers, everybody that's shorted here on high volume will think, if we push back up, I'm going to have to get out of this position and become buyers, and then we'll see that little flurry. But we're going to run into this area of volume where we sold last time, and this is where potentially the market will add into their short positions. So this is where I would look for new shorts, and this is kind of the head fake sort of trade. I qualified one Apex account on Sunday night trying to pump up the other. Oh, nice one. Got 5 in total. Don't forget, you've got to trade 10 days. So basically, you just need to trade a little bit more. Well, you got to take a trade every day. Take a one contract trade every day, and basically just open it and close it with 1 tick profit or loss. As long as you assume you're more than $200 over your target. And then that one's funded. Done. They don't look at how you got there. They're very, very relaxed, Apex. They just fund you. Don't care how you got there. None of this 40% of your profit can't come from one day stuff that Top Step and people do. But that's obviously much more reliable. They get a much better quality trader. How easy is it to switch between accounts in terms of execution? Do you still have a signal DOM open? No, switching accounts, you literally just on your trade on the that one. What's it called? Your trading settings, where you set up how many contracts you want to go long and short. There's a drop down at the top, and it will show all your accounts. You just switch between it. It's very easy to do. I'm not going to show mine because I've got all my accounts in there, and you'll see all my account numbers. So I can't show you how you do it. But yeah, that's how you do it. My first time in your live, and I feel lost. Yeah, Mohammed, if it's your first time in here, you will feel lost. Go and watch the Boocamp on YouTube for Forex. So it's bullish ticks starting to come in. Yeah, futures, I trade futures as well, but I concentrate on Forex position trading in the live room. This is kind of an addition. A little drop down in the execution panel. Yeah, that's what Trevor. Yeah, so that's what I was explaining. Took me 2 days to find it. Yeah, got to go through the course. There's a really good on Jigsaw's got an FAQ or a wiki kind of thing. If you want to know about any individual panel, like individual part of Jigsaw, go and read just about that part. It really is helpful just to get the ins and outs of exactly what it's capable of doing, rather than trying to find it yourself. So bullish ticks coming in now at yesterday's close. So this is the gap fill on the ES basically. So we were pushing down for that gap fill. Now we've done it. We're going to hover somewhere. So first signs of bullishness coming in. Doesn't mean I necessarily want to go long. We pushed down on 15,000 contracts. So we can easily pull back on 7,000 contracts and still go leg down. But the whole market is now ticking up. So I'm waiting for my next sign of sellers coming in. So I'm sitting here now waiting to see negative ticks, lots of big orders coming in, and I want us to, be pulling back on light volume, potentially for taking a short. Jesse, if you haven't placed your first order yet, you'll see how to do that. Right. So that's it for futures. I'm going to be doing a little bit this morning. I've got to go out this morning though, to buy boring stuff like paint. So 1.5 hours in, gap fill well and truly done on the DAX. Pound US dollar is pushing down nicely. CAD yen stalled, so everything else is just sort of slipping in a bit of DD at the minute. Mainly on that Aussie. They didn't like that, did they, the rates? So 125 nearly Aussie. We're running into the accumulation propulsion gap, although that's more of a kind of flag, but we'll see. We should get some buyers stepping in here if this is going to remain bullish. If we accumulate down here and then put in another leg, I might have to start doing something about this. I don't think this is particularly yen strength. Everything against the yen is coming down at the moment. So it does look like we've got some strength coming through. I don't necessarily think this is going to be sustained strength. So I'm just looking to see what happens with the rest of the Aussie pairs. If the Aussie pairs all recover, and this yen doesn't recover, might think about taking a little bit more of an aggressive position on it. I can't get in there, it's too close, way too close. It's only 40 pips away from my last entry, so but yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Should have taken that off this morning. I had 0.2% in profit on that this morning. I should have just banked it, but anyway. The more I watch you, I realise how much I have to bin the anticipation aspect of in Forex, in position trading, anticipation is key. I am always trying to forward guess the market. I'm always trying to assume, not assume, but I'm planning that. That's in my head. That is what is going to happen on Aussie yen. That's my game plan. In futures, you have to go with the flow, because in futures you are trading intraday. You're in and out with 10 ticks, 16 ticks. In my case there, that was an intraday swing gap fill trade, but it was in and out within 1 hour 19 minutes. That whole trade took. The previous trades took 12 minutes each. Yeah, so you can't try and predict what's going to happen in the futures market. If the futures market wants to come down today, you're just going to get stopped out constantly on it. So you can't do that in futures. You've got to go with what the market is telling you. And the market at the moment is telling you short. 15,000 contracts have gone in short on the ES so far in the last leg down, and it's pulled back by 1.3 thousand, and now look at it. It's not a short, it's not a long, it's a short. Until that tells you otherwise, until there's a massive volume spike to the upside, you do not want to be looking at longs. You're going to get run over. Euro yen, 125 ADR. So we've got a yen, this is quite a strong yen today, don't like it. This is what I was talking about, being overexposed on the yen. I'm going to give it today, see where we go. Hopefully we'll just pull back. But we'll see. So there's nothing else I'm looking to get into today. This is my exposure. That's where it's staying at the minute. There's nothing else I can see that I want to really want to get involved in. I've done 1.8 based off of yesterday's moves, so not far off of target this week really. In fact, I could have actually banked 0.4% this morning, which is really annoying. I should have done it, but hindsight. So Aussie yen is my main thing that I'm going to be watching today. I'm not going to get into any aggressive positions on it, so just going to wait and see what happens with that one. So that's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow morning 7:50 same time. Anything you need, come into the Telegram group. I'll be in there. I am popping out, but I will be back this morning later. Actually, I've got delivery coming at 10:30 now. Can I make it there in an hour and back? Yeah, probably. So yeah, and I'll be doing a bit of futures. So this afternoon, if you are trading futures or indices this afternoon on CFDs, be very careful because we're quite possibly going to get a very volatile open. We had no trading yesterday, New York session. There's going to be a lot of volume to execute today. And obviously we're a day ahead of FOMC as well. So there'll be a lot of positioning in the market ahead of FOMC, either putting positions in or extracting positions out. So quite big moves potentially today. Trevor, 1.14 on FX so far today. We'll be drilling jigsaw. Good idea. Yeah, have a good day, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:50. Yeah, sorry about the echo. I will be sorting that out when I do my room, but it's going to be a kind of week project, so a week and a bit. So not going to be a quick one. All right, have a good one. See you in the Telegram group, and good luck today.